The Great Debaters Contest is brought to you by Safaricom M-Pesa.
Welcome to the best debate show in sub-Saharan Africa, the Great Debaters Contest. I am Mariam Bishar.
And I am Austin Yumbok. We have 6 young gentlemen from the Brook School, Juja, and Mang'u High School. Their motion is, gender is a determinant on how we save.
We'll have the first proposer take the stage. You have 3 minutes.
My name is Daniel Winaroshi, representing Mang'u High School, and I am here to propose the motion that states gender is determinant on how we save. Now, for starters, just a quick intro. Gender is the aspect of being either male, or female, while saving is simply the accumulating of funds for future perspectives. Saving can be achieved in form of insurance policies, banking services, as well as stocks exchange. Just a brief history on banking. Banking actually began with men back in the days when we used to use metals as a form of currency, basically. Biologically, it's women's nature to be more conservative, as they have been genetically wired to think of future prospects. This clearly shows that women have plans for their latter financial life, so it's more knowledgeable for them to save money for this future that they are hoping for. And I mean, this basically goes to show that gender is indeed a determinant on how we save. Again, according to a recent research that's by Wells Fargo Korea, 61% of millennial men save compared to 51% of millennial women. And I mean, this evidently goes to show again that gender is a determining factor on how we save. Again, in a family setup where we have the female and the male parents, in a normal family setup, that is men being the head of such families, then I believe they are socially charged with the responsibility of saving in order to take good care of course and to fend for their families effectively. Now, these savings are in form of insurance policies, trust funds, and emergency funds for their families. And again, I believe that this strongly shows that gender is a determinant on how we save. Women earn 77 cents while men earn $1. This is according to a research by Fidelity Investments for the past year. This notwithstanding women save more than men, it comes with gender that females will save for their bare prospects for the future, while men save quite literally because they have to. And on to my final point, ladies and gentlemen. According to a survey conducted by Geopol Kenya, I believe we all know Geopol Kenya, most of the founding and existing chamas or circles spearheaded towards instilling the culture of saving in the society are female dominated in bid to empower the woman. Hence we have circles like Maendeleo ya Wanawake and Vyama vya Wanawake. Evidently this shows that gender is indeed a determinant on how we save. Thank you so much.
Opposition, you have 3 minutes for your opening statements.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Brook School, my name is Ian Mwangi. And I'd first like to begin by demystifying the terms used up in the motion. We'll start with gender, which has been confused, honestly, interchangeably with sex to refer to the biological and physiological characteristics that determine men and women, a mistake that has also been made by the proposing adversary. Gender can be defined as socially constructed roles, behaviors, activities, and attributes that a given society considers appropriate for men or women. While a determinant is a thing that decides whether or how something is to happen, and to save is to avoid wastage and use more than necessary, or to keep instead of spending for future use. Ladies and gentlemen, I will guarantee you your money back. I'm immensely sure I will have you convinced that gender does not necessarily determine how we save. There are factors that do influence how we save. The level of education, for example. It goes without saying, people who are highly educated, for example, a PhD holder like Judge Booker, these are highly sought after employees compared to the less educated few. By lacking education, of course, there are less employment chances. A research by Penina and Junge in 2013 reveals a larger proportion of household heads who had primary education or lower fell within the saving rate of 0 to 0.2% than those who had secondary education, that is 61.1%, and those who had college or higher level of education at 22.5%, clearly showing that education does influence. Gender is not necessary. All of us in this room are currently in a school, but not all of us are female, not all of us are male. We are, after all, different. Also, the size of the household. What do I mean by this? I mean by the dependency ratio, extended family, children in the house. A man with 10 children and a man with 2 children spend different, save different. A research by the same Penina and Junge in the same year, 2013, reveals a higher proportion of employed household heads fell within the savings of 0 to 0.2%, while those unemployed fell between 54 to 54.5%. What does this show? That someone who's employed in a household, we give them the nicknames house help. Say a house help will tend to save more. A house help can be either male, a house help can be female. We after all have house boys and house girls. So that person will tend to save for future emergency. Unlike that person who's convinced, of course, that I, as a household head, doesn't determine. Marshall Bruce Mathers III had no father. The mother was the household head. So what does this show? That it doesn't really necessarily mean that the one heading the house should be the man. A woman can be the head of the house. And according to the research, of course, once the household heads that are actually employed are saving to 0 to 0.2%. And the ones unemployed are saving between 54 to 54.5%. Food for thought.
We'll now hear cross-examinations. Proposers, you have 3 minutes.
My name is Omondi Jr. from Mang'u High School. Now, first of all, I want to start with the definition of gender. And you said that this is mainly determinant of the fact that you belong to the masculine side or the feminine side. But then they told us that because of the various functions that the society delegates to you, it will determine your gender. Now, I'd want to ask that when the society wants to dedicate these various roles to you, what do they consider? On which side do you align yourself? The masculine side or the feminine side? And that still returns us back to the point that gender basically is all about being male or female. Now, there's a point that my learned friends talked about dependency. And they say that if you have a large number of people that depend on you, it really matters on how much you save. Now, I want to ask that if someone earns a salary of, let's say, 50,000 Kenyan shillings, and another person earns a salary of, let's say, 10,000 Kenyan shillings, and these people happen to both be heads of families that have 2 children each, they need to take them to school and do the various same things to their children. Then one question comes into mind, that the expense to be able to do this is the same, irrespective of the fact that these people are dependent on by 2 children. The one that has 50,000 Kenyan shillings will, after spending, have much more to save, unlike the one with 10,000 Kenyan shillings. So I don't want to say that the fact that you're stating that dependency really matters on how we save, I don't want to disagree with that. And moving on about the points about the heads of the families. You know, when you say that you become the head of the family, and then, of which in most family setups, as we are all aware, that most of them, and normal families talking about where you have a male and a female counterpart, like my first proposer put it, it is that the men are the ones that are mostly charged with fending for their families. And irrespective of that, you find that if we have both the masculine and feminine in the family, the men will be mostly looked up to in order to fend for the family. Now, if we talk of that and say that this will not become, a role in it, then I really don't think that we're talking of the straight terms. I think that gender still dominantly comes out as a factor that we're supposed to consider on how much that we do save. Thank you.
Opposition, you have 3 minutes for your cross-examination.
I salute you all. Before you, it's Francis Mwangi. I would have picked just from where my colleague left, were it not for some points that have been put forward by the proposal desk that have just angered me. Imagine this. They're saying that, the first speaker, David, that it's women's nature to save. And now, I will ask him a question. If it's your nature and you don't have something to save, will you save? Your nature will not have any impact on you. Anyways, to the second part. Another one just said that it is our social responsibility as men to save. But this is a question that I'm asking now. How many of you have their mothers paying for them school fees without telling their fathers? Despite it is a social responsibility of men, as he has said. My mother pays for me school fees and he doesn't tell my father. It's not the social responsibility of a father, for the whole family. I hope you get it. Next time don't repeat. Now, taking just from where my fellow colleague left, I would like to ask you a question. How many of you have gone to a bank and have asked to start an account or to get a loan, then they have been denied the loan or an opportunity to start an account of saving just because they are male or female? Of course, none. This shows gender has not affected your saving. You can save if you want. There are other factors that can make you to save or not, which I'm going to speak about. The first one is income. If you don't get an income like mine, I'm getting 50,000, he's getting 20,000. Can we save the same? Never. Yeah. Judge Minor, if he's getting 20,000 and Judge the lady over there getting 50,000, there is no single day one they will save the same. Their income is the determinant of how they save, not their gender. To the other point, I want to talk about now this access to credit facility. Back to the point that I was now bringing forward. We all have equal opportunities to access credit facilities. Am I right? Because there's no bank in Africa or in the world that will tell you you're a woman, do not save. You're a man, I will not give you a loan. There's nothing like that. We're all given an equal opportunity to get that loan, to save in that account, so we can all invest if we want. We can invest. And if you can invest, you can get profit and save the profit. Yeah, we have to remove the ideology of that it's our gender that is forcing us to either save or not. Like my colleague have just talked about education. Yeah, let me talk about this. Let me add a point on it. If you are a man, and people like my fellow colleague have just said that it's the nature of men not to save. But if you're a man, and you have that nature not to save, but women have the nature to save, then the man becomes educated and he learns. Like schools offers, like those who are doing business studies will understand the way to save, how to save, and which account can help you save. So if you are a learned man, even if it is not your act to save, it's not always your character to save, you'll find out that you will learn. You can learn, and the character is gone. Thank you so much.
Wow, I'm broke, don't know how to get better. I just get money, send money to M-Pesa. Far from the bank, what would daddy do? Please touch M-Pesa, touch up on my school fees.
Tuma pesa na
M-Pesa,
pokea pesa na
M-Pesa,
lipa bill na
M-Pesa,
lipa karo na M-Pesa.
touch music.
Take part in the M Challenge by sending your short song, rap, or poem about Safaricom M-Pesa on WhatsApp, and you could win 1,000 shillings in Safaricom airtime.
The proposers have been asked whether they can prove or from what source they got the fact that women are genetically wired to save. And the opposition have been asked if they allude to households where the women are the head and they do such things as paying fees, does that not support that gender is a determinant on saving? Proposer number 3, you have 3 minutes.
I would like to address the questions. They were actually expected. Thank you very much. And I would like to start with correcting my fellow opposer, because the way he's putting it, it's like we are edging ourselves on a certain gender. We are actually quoting instances that have been proven statistically where men are saving more than women and where women are saving more than men, which actually shows that it is a determinant, but according to our statistics, no one gender is proving to save more than the other. It is just at some certain instances. For example, we said that 61% of millennial men save for their retirement as compared to 51% of the millennial women. There we just give a statistic that has been proven that the men in this case are saving more than the women. And we went on to say that despite the fact that, according to research done, despite the fact that men are earning $1 and women are earning 77 cents, according to the research, the women are proving to be saving more than the men. So here, we are not edging ourselves to any gender. We are not saying women are saving more than men, or we are not saying that men are saving more than women. We're just saying that there are instances that have been proven statistically that men have saved more than women and women have saved more than men. And I would like to answer my fellow colleague. He asked where we got our biological proof that women are more genetically wired to think of future prospects. It's from Johns Hopkins Hospital. Yeah, you can look it up. And also, there is another mistake that my colleague made over here. When he asked us of how many of our mothers have actually taken charge of the house. There we see it is situational. We specifically gave the example and said that in a situation where the man and the woman are present, the man is more socially charged to take care of the family. We didn't say that this is the case in most times. We just said that this is what is expected socially by everyone, that the man takes charge of the house. And with this, we will find him gearing his funds more on saving for his family.
Opposition, you have 3 minutes to respond to the audience.
I am 1 in 11 billion, Juma, Wafula, Pruno, ready to oppose this motion that states gender is a determinant on how we save. First and foremost, gender has never been, is not, and will never be a determinant on how we save. On to my dearest Regina. The question was about the lady supporting the family, yes? Yes, we do have ladies who support the family. And therefore, the proposing side talked about men being the household heads. Therefore, they are charged with the responsibility of paying school fees and taking care of the family. And therefore, we brought up the essence of the woman taking care of the family and paying school fees on behalf of the male who are not present. Therefore, gender is not a factor. And when you talk about a lady who pays school fees, this is not the gender influencing the lady paying school fees. This is the situation and not the gender. So get your facts right. Second thing you talked about was men saving $1 and the women saving more. Where did you get your facts, by the way? We need sources. We need factual evidence. You ain't giving us none of that. That's what we want. Ladies and gentlemen, a lot of points have been raised. And I think to wrap it all up, I can say that gender does not influence or determine how we save. Other factors majorly influence how we save. Whether you're a man or a woman, it doesn't influence. Who can stand up and say he saves more than the other simply because of gender? Anybody? Anybody? It's only Mang'u students. There's a problem somewhere. For example, you can look at Judge Booker and Judge Maina. Can any of you stand up and say, I save more simply because I'm a lady? I bet not. You'll consider factors such as the level of income, your temperamental status, your view in life. That's the temperament. Whether you're optimistic or you're pessimistic, it doesn't matter. You can be a man or a woman, but your level of saving is poor. Look at the educational background. Some of us have not studied. Where will you get the essence of saving? Where will you learn about saving? On to my first point, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's high time it looked at health. Sorry to say, but amidst, we do have cancerous students. And in our school, you have one. The person has to go for chemotherapy every now and then. Therefore, the parent cannot save a lot of money. He has to spend on the child. Whether the parent is a father or a mother, it doesn't matter. They want to take care of the kid. Therefore, the kid has to be taken to the hospital and undergo therapy. So will you tell me simply because the family is headed by the mother, she won't take the kid to the hospital to want to save more because women are conservative? Is it possible? Think about it. Ladies and gentlemen, I want also to rebuttal, although it's not my thing to do, one of the points that was raised. Talked about a family having 50 children. Seriously. Did you even think about 50 children? Thank you.
We'll hear closing submissions. Proposers, you have 1 minute.
Well. My dear audience, hello. First of all, I'd want to start by saying that our opposers, next time listen more keenly. I think I said 2 children and the parents, in one case, was earning 50,000 Kenyan shillings. I'd want to emphasize on the point that we went ahead and quoted that researches were done by Wells Fargo to show that 61% of millennial men saved and 51% of millennial women saved. Those are the facts. Fidelity Investment went ahead to tell us of the basic earning capacity of people, saying that on average, men earn $1 while women earn $77. Those are the facts. You should listen more. And I'd want to finish by saying that, when you look at life, one of the major factors that influence your view on life is your gender. So if you want to say that your view of life influences the way you save, then what influences your view of life? It is your gender. Thank you.
Opposition, you also have 1 minute.
Again, Juma Wafula Pruno from the Corner Brook School. I think we're going to conduct a research about this and present data to the Nairobi University simply because information is irrelevant. Let us all save. That is my parting shot. Whether you're a male or you're a female, if you're in a position to save, please do so. Because all in all, savings will determine the country's liability. Savings will determine the country's GDP. When you save is the only way you can invest. Without saving, you cannot invest, whether you're a man or a woman. So save wisely, invest wisely, get profits wisely. That's the analogy of Corner Brook School. Thank you.
Mang'u, I think what could have helped the team is research, and I want to agree you did a bit of that, and actually proving, because you can end up being quite subjective, end up proving that, gender is actually a determinant on how we save. And you did a bit of that, but I expected a lot more in terms of research and validating your sources and telling us that this is the reason. I think Daniel tried doing that. Junior, I don't know what happened in the course of your presentation. The first 3 minutes, I could not get a lot from you. The final submission, when you were given the 1 minute to make your closing statements, was better than the initial presentation. And actually, it has, in a way, cost the team a lot of marks. Muriuki, you're a good speaker, and I love the safe way in which you answered the question. Of course, I knew it was very difficult for you to answer the question, especially if you did not have the sources with you and you just took a safe angle, and sometimes you just get away with it in a debate.
To Corner Brook, the debate was actually in your favor. And in your favor in the sense that there are many other factors that determine how people save. And you did justice to it by pointing us towards those other factors. My only concern was that you did not make reference to any research to support your arguments. And even if there were, then maybe, I missed it. But here, in very good definition of term, my only challenge is that you dwelt too much on definition or deconstructing the terms, yet that was not the gist of your motion. Francis, good role in cross-examining. And Juma, a good last speaker. You're a confident, good public speaker. You have stage presence, and that works for you. I think all in all, the 6 guys on stage did very well. All the best.
The judges saw it fit to award Mang'u High School with 67%. Please give them a round of applause. Corner Brook School, Juja, the judges awarded you 71%. You are our winners for the debate.
Bravo to Brook School, Juja, and of course there was a wonderful effort by the gentlemen of Mang'u. We'd like to thank all of you for tuning in and making time to watch us. We'd also like to thank Safaricom M-Pesa and KBC Channel 1. Be sure to follow us on all our social media platforms. On Twitter, we are at Great Debaters EA. Thanks for watching. I have been your host, Mariam Bishar.
And I am Austin Yumbok. Catch you next time.
The Great Debaters Contest was brought to you by Safaricom M-Pesa.